graffiti, I wasn't trying to cut that out, so it does define graffiti as an unauthorized inscription, work, signature, symbol, design, or other marking which is etched, engraved, written, painted, drawn, or applied in any other way to a structure, building, or property. And then signs are specifically for painted signs. One of the definitions for painted sign is the sign is professionally painted on or stenciled on an approved backing. So it doesn't. So in other words, not just directly to a building. And so
not more than 2 feet square.
right, and also the size being and at the trap I fell into at that last meeting was I got into, well, does it look all right to me? Well, it's not a matter to me of whether it looks all right or it doesn't look all right. It's a matter of, to me, of did they administer the ordinance right? If they administered the ordinance right, I don't feel that the motion that I made was proper. If they administered the ordinance wrong, then that would be one thing. So I'm not sure where we go with this. I'll take the responsibility for making the motion to approve something that I don't think met the level of overturning their opinion or their judgment. So I guess my question for the attorney and for staff is where could we go from here if the council was to agree with it? Now I don't know that they do or not, but is there a way that we can readdress the situation if we made an improper decision based on the
point? The person who voted for it can bring it back again, which is what you did. So it's properly, again, before the council, number one. And number two, so we got into the conversation whether or not this was a sign or was it art. And I tried to make clear that it didn't, but under your ordinance, this is a sign. So it would have to be treated as a sign.
So where are you from? I'm not seeing that. Why are you saying that it's
the sign? Because
because it doesn't do the things it says a sign does.
It's a painted sign. If a person commits an offense if you paint a wall, which is what they did. So I don't know if you saw it, but I'm jumping around a bit here, but we sent an ordinance that we did in Burleson where it did more carefully define mural as opposed to painting, and it set some parameters for that. And it also had a grandfather clause where, so if it was there before you adopt those new regulations regarding murals, then in place now would get to stay. I mean, what you were trying to accomplish is to allow this to stay, but have more control over what goes on in the future. I might recommend that you look at that ordinance and place it on an agenda in the future, and that could allow this to go forward if that's what you want. And then,
I think it needs to be cleared up for the people that are administering. I think there was a little gray area there.
That's correct. I just want to say a little story too. I'm not going to name the city, but we had a person who hated the mayor, hated the public works director, and he owned a building right by the bike trail. And so he had pictures of the mayor and sayings about the mayor and all sorts of stuff right there on the bike trail. And so the city code enforcement, I went to enforce it. And one of my associates who was a prosecutor in that city said, well, do we have any other painted murals or stuff like this, on buildings that are owned? And nope, we don't have any. And then a couple of days later, they called and said, well, our public works director has authorized murals all throughout our historic district of town, and they're all painted on the walls. And so it made it very difficult to prosecute this inoffensive one because the city itself had established a precedent of allowing paintings on walls. So what you're going to, if you don't address the issue, you are going to have problems with prosecution in the future of people who, not with necessarily graffiti, because graffiti, when someone...
That's illegal. That's not what we're talking about.
Doesn't paint something on someone else's building, and that's not permitted. But if someone owns a building and has something they want to say, and they
just say it's a mural.
And this is a mural, but it's
so we have a neighboring city that is.
It's not a neighbor, I'm not gonna
No, but I'm saying,
Okay.
we seem to be wanting to embrace
Uh-huh,
the new river district, and
Uh-huh.
the Foundry, and
uh-huh.
Magnolia, all of those places.
Yeah.
One of the big things is they are putting very,
It's artwork on the wall.
yes, and we've already had somebody in our city that had planned on it.
Yeah.
Possibly of our.
My understanding is it's the same artist.
Well,
I
that's what I heard.
I will personally tell you, this is not my cup of tea,
Right, yeah.
but I think we better be careful where we go if you're wanting to attract those people. That is a very, I can tell you that some of the nicest signs that I know of in this area are Vernon's Automotive has just painted new vintage signs on their building, their signs, and they look awesome. We regulate an awful lot here, and it was all based on the mayor kept going back to graffiti. We can't let this go, it's gonna go rampant, we're gonna have graffiti everywhere. Well, graffiti is not what this is, and it should be painted over.
I mean,
That's vandalism.
my art is Da Vinci, not Picasso. So when I look at art, I got.
Well, that's the problem, when you go there, you can't say none of it.
I like dogs playing poker personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can't beat the judge of that.
Can't say yes.
So, I had mentioned maybe a size part,
And
but to me, this still is not what this is, not a sign, whether I like it or don't like it.
Well, that was what I got caught up in, the sign part of it. I looked at the picture, I didn't see a name on it anywhere. So to me, that didn't make it a sign, and the term that kept coming up was hand painted. Well, everything's hand painted.
It does say Maven's Moon on it.
The name.
It does, now I found out later.
It does.
But I asked that.
It does that?
It does. When it says Maven's Moon on it, it becomes a sign.
That would have.
I can't argue that. I didn't see that on it.
I didn't, there's a picture of it.
I've got a picture here, and I'm not seeing it.
It's right.
I'm not disagreeing.
So the only reason why, where I think, Darren, I think you're right, that,
Yeah, if you look right straight under where
Yeah.
the lady's pointing out, it says Maven Moon, and it's vertical.
what's on our, it's on page 33 of our,
Well, we see the picture, you just can't make out.
it says,
I didn't
it's
realize
an
that, but I'm not arguing
Yeah.
that.
How
It's a
old is your picture?
The AB.
If your picture is older, it doesn't have Maven's Moon, but it does have
How old
Maven's
is it?
Moon now.
Yeah.
This
Well, it
is an
does.
older one,
Yeah.
but the
Well,
newer
now, it
one,
didn't originally have it, now it does, is what you're saying?
right,
Got a spaceship painted on it.
it's different
But
from that
this is-
older one.
Go down this path a little bit. So let's say, for the reasons mentioned, about wanting to be eclectic and embrace new ways and whatnot, that we want to allow murals. And then, so we've got the thing like the speech thing, where they were trashing people. And I'm sure we have no one in our city who would do anything like that, right? But anyway, but let's say that they want to use swastikas and other signs of hate, for lack of a better word.
Obscenity, the
How do
Burlington,
you deal with that?
the Burlington one does address obscenity, and I think it addresses hate symbols as well. If it doesn't, I think hate symbols is something we can't.
You talked about symbols, and I did send a copy to everybody, I don't know if y'all had a chance.
So
Very
if,
briefly.
you know,
So maybe,
and witchcraft doesn't get into hate, I guess.
Is that a religion?
That's a religion.
so tonight, if you want, we can make a decision and reverse your decision if you want, that's one option. Or you can postpone the decision and decide whether or not you want to look at this ordinance at the next meeting.
I had time to digest that, because I just got that.
It's not on the agenda to adopt this tonight, so.
And it's not adoptable.
No, it's not, this was just something we pulled from Berlin.
Did you see them?
Well, they're saying it was
Well,
bad.
that's what I had to look at.
I said, well, it's not a name, it's not a sign.
Yeah, it's
And
on,
how can you say hand painted? Hand painted can mean anything.
But under your ordinance, whether or not it has words, like a coach, it should, it doesn't have to have words.
They've got
Okay.
It's a commercial sign.
So, the thing is, we have huge issues